C'est la tomato! C'est la tomato!
Welcome to another Tomato Talks. It's Tomato Clock, and today I'm thrilled to chat with King Kovu, the owner of Lazy Lions. Lazy Lions has been a staple in the Web3 space, as many of you know, so I'm excited to hear about Kanko's path to Web3 and the big plans happening for the Lazy Lions ecosystem. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get into it. Kanko, I know I do this more of a podcast style, so that's why I'm just going to kick right into it. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I love it. I love the style. Let's go.
Thanks.
I'm here for it.
I know usually the drill is to wait for a little bit more people, but I think I'm just going to get into it because I will be putting this up on YouTube as well, so the recording will be there for everybody. So my biggest question that I like to get into, it fascinates me. What was your first introduction into NFTs and what really hooked you into this space?
I would say first introduction, and I probably didn't even know it was an NFT or, really the technology or what it did behind it. But in 2017, myself and a bunch of other ETH guys were buying all these. We were trying to play this game, and they had these different. At the time, I don't know what we called them, but I later came to understand them as NFTs, and it was part of these boats and it was part of this battleship style game. And so we spent, probably 50 or 60 ETH on this game in 2017, which, at the time wasn't a tremendous amount of money. And so it, eventually it was just a rug and went away. But the cool, unique thing is like the group of people that were interested in playing this game, like still was a community, and like there's still a Reddit group, that's to this day still people talk about it. So it's just that interesting camaraderie and community that can kind of form out of really anything. And that was kind of my first introduction into what later became like a huge boom in 2021, right? And so it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Do you remember what it was called, or did I miss that?
It was ether tanks. And then they had ether ships because they continued the rug really good,
Oh
and
wow,
we didn't.
of course.
And so it kept evolving, and we're like, oh wow, there's new stuff, right? Because when you first turn in a rug, it doesn't really make sense. Like you're like, oh wow, they're just releasing a lot of new things,
Yeah.
and like so we need to buy all those things, and so we all did. And then we kept like upgrading our ships and upgrading our tanks, and it was like, wow, the battle's coming, the battle's coming. The battle never came.
Oh no.
But it was really a good time, and it was like such a group on like Reddit, and it wasn't really Discord, but some Telegram and some other stuff. I forget it all, but it was such an interesting time to just like play around with that stuff.
It was. I have to give kudos to a lot of those founders who knew how to build the hype, and really they were the reasons that brought so many people together, even though they rugged in the end. It's like you had so much potential. You had a really great skill on community building, and you just kind of ruined all of that. So it is funny how there could have been a lot more great projects out there right now, if the founders had just maybe stuck around for a minute. But
Exactly. It's such a unique thing because there was this group of people, and that my first taste of NFTs and communities. But it's like it was the normal thing, and like all of us were like, oh yeah, let's just communicate with them, let's buy the project, because that's what you do. Even in 2017, that's what you thought of, like, oh, I just need to take this over, we can run it as a community, because we formed that community like quickly. And I was like, wow, this was just training for the future.
exactly. Wait, so 2017, like that's very different from what the Web3 space looked like in 2021, correct? Like,
Yeah, there's no information and nobody was talking about it. I did a lot with Ethereum, a lot of other chains. I was big in like IOTA and Tron and a bunch of other stuff. That we were just kind of buying coins. There's a lot of Reddit stuff, Discord.
oh, Discord was around, or
I think it was Discord. I
mhm.
forget when that started. It's like I try to think back and, like, remember how I found information, and I
Mhm.
think it was mostly Reddit, but I can't be sure. Like, I just don't remember.
Yeah. A lot happens in this space in, what, a month, so, yeah, don't worry.
Exactly.
Imagine thinking back that far back. But I am curious, because I know we never kind of ran in the same circles. Did you mint, Lazy Lions?
I didn't actually. So
Okay.
that's, another, like, kind of fun story. Like, I missed the mint because at that time I was playing in the ape world, right? So I
Mhm.
had apes and I was in the ape Discord and,
Oh,
just kind of
so I
living the ape life.
back up. So you did mint apes, or did you just buy an app?
No, I didn't even mint apes either.
Okay.
So I, like, very rarely minted things in the early days.
Gotcha.
So, like, just to step back a little bit,
Yeah.
before apes, like, I had a lot of Twitter accounts from, 2007. I sold a bunch, and, it was right around the time that apes had started. They'd been out for a couple months, and I knew people were making money on them, and so I was like, "Well, I think I just have this free money from these imaginary Twitter accounts that I sold. Like, I might as well, like, just buy some apes." And so I did, and it was, you're not supposed to sell Twitter accounts, so don't
I
listen to this, Elon.
okay.
But, like, so I took that imaginary Bitcoin money that I received for these accounts and, like, bought a bunch of apes. Um, yeah, and so then, fast forward, the Lions happened somewhere in there, right? And
Mhm.
so the Lions mint happened. I knew of it. I did pay attention. But I was an ape, and so, like, the lions in that day attacked you, right? And so they
Yeah.
wanted everybody to come in and, buy it. And so, I sold one of my apes. I took, like, the 70, $80,000, whatever it was at the time, and, like, bought like 50 or 60 lions, I
Oh,
want to
wow.
say.
Okay.
So
So you were in all the communities, I imagine, or all the trade groups.
yes, I was. Yeah, I had a. So I ended up buying most of the rares. I was
Yeah.
that guy for a while. I didn't buy as I liked the looks of certain ones, and that's kind of what I did. And so I super enjoyed them, and, like, I really enjoy being part of the community. And so
Mhm.
I left the ape Discord. Like, I think I was still a member, but, like, I didn't really hang out there anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know any of the people. Like, it became different because everybody all of a sudden had money.
Uh,
And so I just found myself in the Lazy Lion Discord, like, all day, every day. And then we just did spaces all day, every day.
yeah, that it was a very fun time. I remember there was P. Froob and all his gifts of "Let's go, let's raid." It was so fun.
Yes, exactly.
Um, m but, so, I'm gonna just fast forward a little because we kinda know the story of what everything that went down, but I'm very curious on, what inspired you to want to acquire the Lazy Lions, with everything that goes into being a founder and having an NFT project, was it something in your experience or even work experience or anything that pushed you to want to be in that? Or what crazy idea got in your head that, like, oh yeah, that'd be great to be a founder of a project?
Well, so a lot of my career, early in my life was, tech startups and,
Mhm.
like, building, different brands. And so, I kind of had that background. But then a lot of in my spare time, my hobby was buying and selling domain names and, which is kind of the starter kit for NFTs, right? Because you're used to
Mhm.
buying and selling things that have perceived value. And so, I was like, I didn't have any lions anymore. I'd been in a lot of projects and businesses that failed and
Mhm.
were failing. Um, I think I was frustrated, and I said, I just really I want to create something. I want to build something. And so I knew I wanted that. I didn't. I had a business idea of an NFT project that is pretty much built out that I could have
Mhm.
launched. At that same time, it kind of just happened to hear something that it was coming up for sale, and so at that time I was like, that's interesting. Let me just kind of explore this because I mean, as someone who appreciates, like, brands, and someone who understands the value of a brand and the legacy of a brand, I felt it needed to be purchased by someone who understood that. And, I saw a lot of the people who wanted to buy it wanted to roll it up into, their existing communities. And,
Mhm.
I felt like I was like, I just don't like, what could happen. And, even though I wasn't part of the community anymore, I was like, I just felt like the need to like say, like, I want to do this, and I feel like I can. And, with my experience and my background, I was like, I should do this. And so, uh, yeah, I started working on it and, started talking to Nine, and, ignored me for a long time, and took forever and to like figure out that I was serious. So, but yeah, no, here we are.
Got it, okay. And so is this, what you do full time? Are you just with Lazy Lines, or you still have, like, your other businesses?
No, so for the most
Mhm.
part, I had a lot of investments, and so I just have those. I retired from in real life work, I guess, right after I sold all my ape coin at like $27 each, and
Okay.
all my apes. So it's
Got it.
like I had this huge thing, and I was like, well, kind of, I already had like a nice six-figure job.
Mhm,
I was like, now you throw in another, like, all this large chunk of amazing magic internet money, and I was like, okay, let me invest that into a lot of other things. I got into Bitcoin mining. I own, part of a gold mine and all types of random stuff, right, that I invested in. And so, all that cool stuff is kind of trending together and earning revenue for me. And I was like, I can just do Lazy Lions like all day, every day. And so uh, that was one of the reasons that, I think a lot of what Ash and I wanted, like somebody to take it over,
mhm.
is they're like somebody that can do it all the time. And this is what they want to do, not that somebody's just going to do this on the side.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think and it shows, it makes a big difference. You see that the struggle of trying to balance Web 2 and Web 3 life when you have too much of that going on. So, so I appreciate that. Lazy Lines is your focus.
Exactly.
Yeah. So just to jump in a little bit, I was curious about the Zia beverage partnership. Was that something that did you have to pitch Web 3 to them, or was that something they were already interested in coming? Like, I guess I'm curious on how you're approaching how you're bridging that gap, because it seems like you guys are that's the path that you're going. Like you are working pretty hard on on bridging that gap. So I was curious if that was more or an organic partnership, or how that came about.
So, yeah, it was a little bit of serendipitous,
Mhm,
like, and so, in my background, I worked with small businesses a lot,
mhm,
and, I helped them. One of my first, like, jobs or websites that they wanted me to build, at my company was they, like, build Amazon, but build it very localized with small businesses. And so, I built a version of that, and we operated in, like, 25, 30 cities, with, like, localized delivery before Amazon could deliver what they can now. So, I enjoyed like the aspect of taking like small companies and like making them larger and greater and making them, placing them on the internet and in front of new eyes.
mhm,
Fast forward to like, I met Ryan from Zia, and he's kind of popped around. And anybody you meet in Web3, you automatically think like this is just like some weird scammer dude. Like, why is he here? Right. And so, and so we talked a lot, and then we had like phone call after phone call after phone call, and it just kind of made sense. Our ideas were aligned, and he
mhm,
was very focused on what he was going to do, and what he wanted to do, because he kind of is experimental in his own mind. And
mhm,
so that allowed my like passion and like idea and grand ideas and grandiose visions to like align with his.
mhm,
And so it was cool. It was just kind of like a serendipitous moment that just like happened, and like we found each other, and like so like boom, like we can chat. Like um my wife comes from Coca-Cola bottling industry like in her career, so it's like we have like similar ideas and like similar like knowledge patterns that we can like lean back on, so we like understand the industry
okay.
per se. So
And I'm just curious, is she into NFTs and Web 3 as well, or?
no, so I want to say 2022 she's in Discord. um She was in a couple different communities, started talking to people, and then that was about it.
Oh,
She like it didn't stick,
yeah.
I wasn't gonna force it, and,
Mhm.
but she has a wallet, she has a bunch of stuff, and she does some things. I should probably check to see if she gets some airdrops now that I
Right.
think about it. But, like,
You get some Pengu.
yeah, she might actually, like, 'cause I was old. So yeah, no, but it just didn't stick very well. I
Got
thought she
it.
has a similar kind of mindset of like business, right? Um, this is a random story, but during COVID, we like tried to reinvent every business. So we had like giant post-it notes, like all over the house of like
Oh
just
my god, that sounds exciting. Like, that actually sounds fun, brainstorming all that the crazy ways to stay afloat during that time, right?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just like, what can we reinvent during this time? Like, she's a consultant. I do startups and business, so it's like it was just it made sense at the time. That's what we did.
Have you always kind of been in that area of startups and like, business, or did it come from something else?
So I worked for a newspaper media
Mhm.
company for most of my career. Previous to that, it was a lot of sales organizations. Um, but for them, I was in charge of new revenue streams, and so I was basically, as the pressure I put on myself was to make the newspaper not lose money, so the news could continue all over the world and be free
Oh,
press.
awesome.
And
Uh,
so, I basically spent all day, every day figuring out new strategies to make money. And so it was a lot of work based on the internet. And in the end, basically, I was like, here's a bunch of ideas. Here's companies that we can create that, the sales team can sell, the newspaper can earn advertising revenue. And so basically, they just gave me free reign to start new companies, and I would start them, and we'd roll them out to all the different cities. And
Oh my god. Okay, that might be like a whole nother space if you ever wanna talk about that. That sounds super fun and exciting.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of cool stuff. I mean, we were like early days. And so, I mean, I made a lot of money for the owners because they bought a lot of companies during that day.
Mhm.
My boss was the owner, CEO of that company. And, one of his first investments, like in the tech space, was like Elon's first company. So it's like,
Okay.
most of my time was, like, trying to get people drunk so that we could call Elon, like, during
No,
parties, and so,
did
like, that was, like, my mission all the time, and it never
oh, never
worked,
worked.
but
Oh,
that was, like, my fun story all the time. I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna do it tonight. We're gonna get Elon on the phone." That was before he was, like, Elon today. That was, like, Elon,
like,
like, 6 years ago.
was it sleeping on a couch somewhere wherever he was? Was it what
Yeah.
year? This is what, early 2000s then? Is that what
Yeah, so it would have been, no, I'm not that old, am I? 2000, 2010,
Oh,
2015.
okay.
Like, I was still doing stuff, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, well, okay, that's an exciting conversation, but I will come back to lazy lions. Um, you said you guys recently introduced King Kovu, right? He's AI powered. Do you mind
Yes.
talking more about that?
No, definitely. So, I this is one of, it's been exciting for me, like, right? So I like these new innovative random things of that I can take something as, like, a small, baby and, like, watch it grow into something totally different and unique and have all these fun experiences along the way.
Mhm.
And so, it's I started to code it myself,
Oh,
before we found, like, Creator Bid to do the work for us, which was, like, much easier.
yes.
Yeah, I had this crazy idea, and I was like and Ryan and Westy, Ryan, or Westy, whatever you
Yeah.
wanna call him, and, like, and Podamus, kinda like our dev team, if you will, I was like they didn't have time to code it out or, like, do anything of my crazy ideas. I was like, I come from a coding background way earlier in my career. So it's like, okay, I can do this. And so, I dove right in. I spent like 3 weeks doing different things, and we had a good base on it. And I was like, I think this could work. But then I found like they were already starting to like pop up, and then the market kind of exploded like right after we created King Kovu. Um, but I felt like it was such a cool thing and a unique idea that still right now none of the NFT market is really exploring it. And so
Mhm.
I still think we're early, and I still think it's going to be like super cool of like the stuff, the next kind of iterations of it that are coming out that will be really cool. I guess I could talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Uh-huh.
So, because I get super excited about this. No, but so one, I want him to, and I'm building a lot of his conversation abilities now. And so I'm feeding him tons of information about
Mhm.
lions, but then I want him to really get deep into the traits. And I want him to have like this conversation where you can ask him, which lion is better, and
What?
he'll talk about it.
3D kings,
And
3D kings, I'm just saying.
yeah, no, I know. So it's like you can have these fun conversations and fun battles with him. And then I still want that gaming kind of aspect to continue. And, I want people to try to get money out of him
Mhm.
because he buys the lazy coin like every day.
Oh,
He has,
I have
funds and
questions
he,
about that as well, so but I'll let you continue with this.
oh yeah, yeah. So he has all this lazy coin that he's buying and it's all automated. And so like I'm trying to get him to, build this baseline of like where people can argue with him and like try to get him to give them money. But the whole premise is lazy is earned and you have to earn it. So he's like, in his like AI mind is built totally on the premise that he can't give money away. You have to earn
Oh
it.
my
And so I'm trying to create that battle. And so that's kind of the exciting stuff to me that's coming where it starts to take, a normal AI agent and like bring him back to NFTs and have fun with NFTs, but really expand on that premise and like all this cool other
and
stuff.
then when there's robots, like, roaming around that are just arguing with people, I'll be like, "It stemmed from King Kovu because of Kango."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
do.
Wow, okay. Well, when you say argue, like, is it like sell me a pen kind of situation and, like, debate on something or, like, much worse or much, I don't know, hard.
No, so yeah, no, that's a good concept. So like there was another AI agent did this on an advanced level of like his full programming was to like a game where you had to try to break him to give money away.
Mhm.
And like he would just keep going back to his code, right, and say like this. And so eventually they were able to get him out of his baseline code
Uh,
to like give the money away. And so it's there's a baseline amount of responses that he can have, and a lot of it's like sheets of typing and paper. So it's like we have a 40-page storyline for Kovu that's like the backstory of Lazy Lions, the idea of Lazy is earned, and he's supposed to take all that information and apply it to all his posts. Who was that?
is that who's responding right now on the King Kovu account? Is that correct? Is that what
Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't. I haven't given him full reins to like post. Like GM, good morning,
okay.
like those type of
Okay.
things. But if it's just a reply, that's all him. He replies. He has a set number of replies he can do every day while he's learning, and then every day I like open him up a little bit more, and so he starts replying a lot
Oh
more.
my gosh. Okay, this is getting like awesome but crazy at the same time. Like this could go very wrong. He could take over soon, Kanko. All.
Yeah, that's part of the fun
Yeah.
though. And so like and then I was talking to, the creator bid dev team today and we're talking a lot about the new stuff that I want to integrate and a lot of the trait APIs that we have and a lot of the sales and the sales bot, I kind of want that to be replaced and Kovu to kind of take over some of that.
Oh.
And just like have fun with more of the community in that way
Mhm.
and also be very much onboarding like right and when somebody buys a lion basically just tag in Commander Kovu and like or King Kovu and he'll come in and like welcome him and like
Oh, I like
get the whole pride behind him.
that's awesome. Okay. Cool, cool. Like like uh, anything else like as in like 3 to have you thought of the 3 to 5 years of Kovu yet of what that looks like or you're still.
So
Mhm.
my the I want him to be like this elite trader because we're going to keep making him his treasury is growing every day,
Oh.
right? A lot of some of that back end is still controlled by me where he's generating income with his treasury.
Mhm.
But eventually he takes over more and more of that of his own. But then he also starts getting allocations of coins because he's so much deep in the trading sphere that he collects all these coins and gives them back to the pride, and so he basically earns for the giant lazy community as a whole.
Mhm.
And so I think that's part of it, and then I like to think of him as like a brand ambassador.
Mhm.
He's like the guy that we can program in, load him up with Zia information,
Uh,
and like he can connect all of that kind of data. And like as we bring in like another Zia type product or service and connect it with Lions, he can take on that also and kind of connect that. So he becomes not only like just a guide in the pride, but actually like a leader and a, conversator and, he really like ambassador, if you will,
y
for new things.
Definitely, and I saw that, uh, we'll have the option to stake lazy, is that right? Or
Yeah,
is that
exactly. So there's a couple different things.
Mhm.
And so Kovu has a membership as part of it, and it's part of the creator bid platform. And there's a couple different things with that. You right now you stake the lazy, and basically that takes it out of the ecosystem and lowers the total supply that's available.
Okay.
With that, creator bid is wink wink going to drop a token at some point, and so there will be allocation for everybody. You earn points daily for your staking of Lazy, for all of their other AI agents that are in their system. And
Okay.
so right now, that point allocation will be every day you get more, and it's based on the price of Lazy, your total points, comparative to all the other coins, how long you staked, all those type of things.
Mhm.
And so, right now that's designed that because the idea is to a farm a little bit and farm as many of those points as possible so we get as much of that airdrop as possible to build his treasury so that he can do a lot more magical things instead of just small things, right, stacking pennies.
Yeah. Got it, okay, and, that's available to do right now? Like, I should have been staking, am I behind? Is that
Yeah, no, you can actually, yeah. So if you have some, yes,
Okay,
please, and you should, yes. You
got
can go on Creator Bed, just click on King Kovu's on the dashboard there, or when you first log in, and then click. There's a diamond little membership thing, and you can click that, and it will lock up, as they call it. I don't really call it staking.
yeah,
You're lazy.
right.
Um, and so, and one of the things, Ryan and Podamus, we've been talking about as far as dev related, we were going to build our own staking site.
Mhm,
We've kind of set that on the back burner right now because what CreatorBit has right now is working in that kind of aspect. We can check wallets who have staked and look at that information. So we kind of have everything we need right now. And their platform is growing with the point system. So it kind of fills that purpose and we can concentrate on something else because we have a couple different value props for Lazy that will be coming out here rather quickly.
oh, awesome, like, in the new year situation, or
They're working on it right now, so they're working on 2 different things. I don't know if they worked on it today or if they did their real jobs, I forget. But, it's supposed to be pretty quick, and then the actual, claim site also, so we can distribute, all the rest of the lazy to the holders.
nice, okay, and then I saw, is that when all the other stuff I saw on that list, games and competitions and all that will follow? Is
Yeah, so actually, yeah, so to go along with that, as once they finish that, we partner a lot with Fontico, and so they have a lot of base code they've been working on, and so we'll have some base access to some fun little games on that we're going to create, and kind of the next evolution, right? The first couple things will be more fun, right?
Mhm,
Because Ryan yells at me a lot about making sure we have a lot of fun in
yeah,
NFTs and not as much just making money. And so that's what makes us a good kind of team, the three of us, right?
mhm,
Because it's we all have different ideas, and I get concentrated on building a foundation of base of revenue so we can last for years and years. And Ryan's like, but no, we just have to have fun today. And
yeah.
so I was like, okay, let's do that. And so there's a lot of fun things with Lazy that we're going to roll out first, and then we'll start. At the same time, I'll work on building the revenue.
Awesome. And so, just I don't know if this was released yet, but are you building a game yourself, or is it something like you'll give out lazy in Discord based on the games you're playing there, or something like that, or how?
So it's a combination, and so the greater plan of Lazy Lions is a lot in gaming,
Okay.
and so it's a brand that we have, and
Mhm.
so one we do, and we have scoped out, and we're talking to dev teams now on some games,
Okay.
um, which ones and which network, because we may do it on a different network, and we may make lazy distribute to other networks also. And so there's a couple different aspects with that that are still kind of flowing through, but right now it's like a fun time with all the different chains and
Mhm.
all the different stuff. So we're just kind of embracing that opportunity and looking at a lot of different ideas.
Nice. Awesome. And since you brought it up, I was
Yeah.
curious how did the three of you know each other before you kind of pushed together to be the founders and work together?
No, actually, so I had no idea.
Because
Um,
there was
the
King and you, Westy, and then you, right? Like, had you guys been in contact before, been friends before in Lazy Lions?
No, so, I had never met them before,
Mhm,
and I was so out of the loop, at the time, when we first started, I didn't even know Teely, um, and I was just traveling in different circles, and
mhm,
so I had an offer, and, I was gonna have my own team of people, and
mhm,
it basically would have just, been people employed by me, right? And
mhm,
so, we went a different route, and the advisors that were kind of like the large holders,
mhm,
and a couple other people, they said it's better if we take these two visions and these two bids or offers and like merge them into one. And so we kind of just started talking. We had a couple calls to see if it was feasible.
mhm.
Um, I had tons of questions. I was like, I don't know what you guys are thinking with this, but I don't know. Um, so I was like, after the first call, I was like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
like they like one thing. I was like, I don't know if that works. Like, we'll be off on this journey that I don't even know will make sense with these people. But yeah, then we had another couple calls and it started to like form together. And then it got really exciting. And so
Okay.
we liked how the team operated and kind of evolved. And um, I think after the honeymoon period, right? After like a couple months, like, right, it's like, oh, you guys are kind of dumb sometimes, right? But then, like, like, Kinko, you're an idiot too. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
know I am. Like, but so it's like eventually we had to like beat each other up for like a couple weeks and like kind of figure out like our how we work, how you build as a team and how you all work together. And so
Mhm.
we've kind of hit that stride, a couple months ago, and it's really been working great.
Nice. I mean, I was only really curious, just because since you have that startup background and like that's not a natural process, right? Or does that happen too in startups where people are just thrown together to start up a business? Does that?
No, no, not
Yeah,
normally at all.
just
Like,
seems
yeah.
natural, a little bit unnatural to me. That's why I was just curious of how that played out. Um, but I'm glad it's working out.
Yeah, no, it's really been exciting lately because it's like we know each other's like what we want, and you know we can have Ryan and I can talk during the day, Sola and I can talk during at night, and like last night, I or yesterday afternoon I ran a bunch of stuff by Ryan, and like we talked a lot of tech stuff, and then Sola and I talked late last night, and he like gets the rest of it and then like formed like a cohesive thing, and I was like, yes, this works, we get it all now, like I understand, like you understand like the total vision. I was like, everything just kind of came together to a point, and I was like, wow, yes, I'm so glad the three of us are right here right now.
Nice.
And so yeah, it was like perfect. I was like, yes, this is the culmination of what we've been
Yeah.
working for.
It's all making sense now. It's all making sense. Well, I mean, we're getting into that half hour mark. I like try to end out with some fun questions just because like this is more about getting to know the person behind the PFP. So if you're up for it, I've got a couple questions.
Fire away.
So if you could have dinner with anyone in Web3, who would it be and why?
Who would it be? I would probably do something like Beanie.
Hmm.
I think that would be like a fun conversation of like madness.
Yeah.
And I like his viewpoints and his alternative takes. But he also has a really good business acumen. And so I think it would be a fun conversation.
And then if Lazy Lions were to become a movie, who do you think would play King Kovu?
King Kovu. So I think he would have to be a little bit older and grizzled. And so maybe somebody who's the Taken guy? Um,
Uh, oh gosh, yeah, I have his face. I can't think of his name.
I know he might be too old by the time that comes
Yeah.
out, but what's his name? I can't remember his name. Oh, Liam Neeson.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. So
Like
like,
that straggly?
yeah, well, so, he has, like, kind of that Scottish background, I think, a
Oh,
little bit. Also, I could go with if Ewan McGregor, like, beefed up a little bit,
yeah,
I think that would be cool. But yeah, I think something along those lines would be fun and make sense.
nice. Okay. I definitely like the second option. Um,
There you go.
what's one of your favorite Web3 catchphrases?
Oh. Favorite
Or just
catchphrase?
favorite Web3 word or anything?
Yeah, no, no, that makes sense. Like, so I'm, like, very I think different, and so, like, everybody says GM, and I'm like, I just wanna say good morning,
Oh,
and, like, so I enjoy that, and, like, I enjoy, like, playing the kind of the opposite, I'm like, "Why is everybody saying GM?" But now I say GM just because I feel like the lazy lions want me to say that, and so I conform a little bit, but I used to always just be normal and say good morning or
like,
what's up or yo. I say yo a lot
got
because
it.
that is just my thing.
Right. Okay, so if you could collaborate with any non-Web3 brand, right now, if anyone, like, globally, anybody, who would it be and why?
You know, that's a good one, and so I would like to do a lot of cool stuff. What would I hone in on? So, passion-wise, I would love to be golf, right? But
Mhm.
that doesn't fit the whole community as a whole. So, I would probably go with some kind of clothes manufacturer because I think that's all something we can lean on.
Mhm.
I think it would be fun to rebrand like Lane's End to be cool,
Oh,
and
that
I think that would be fun.
uh-huh.
'Cause there's a lot of cool, like, aspects in that catalog that kinda make sense, but it's very corporate-y. If
Mhm.
we can create it to be this, NFT related, it might be really fun, but still appeal to, like, the business people, create
Yeah.
that thing. Um, I don't know, I think that's cool. That's just a couple off the dome.
Nice. I like that. Um, yeah, and then just wrapping up, anything that I might have missed or anything you want to drop for anyone about lazy lions, you're free to do so.
Um, no, so, I mean, I know a lot right now. I mean, I'll let you guys know. I mean, you know, I think the story of Luca Nets, like everybody knows that it's popular right now,
Mhm.
right? He pitched 297 VCs before he got money to fund Pudgy. I mean, I feel like in my world, I have to pitch 600 to sell Lazy Lions because
Mhm.
it's a little bit harder. And so, that's kind of where we're at right now, as far as like cool things. I'm in starting to really aggressively search funds. And so, but also at the same time, we have some really nice opportunities that we're like really close on grant wise on other chains. And so that's one of the things that we look at with other chains of how I can take something that's different and unique and give it to the holders as a unique way to take something that maybe not great like the bungalows
Mhm.
and like reimagine them on a new chain with like a huge amount of value. And so yes, I wrote like 7 pages today on bungalows.
Oh
So
wow. Uh,
that's my drop of my story. I don't know if it will work, but we have a plan.
well, at least you have 7 pages for the documentary. So
There you go.
very cool, very cool. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. You are always welcome back. Whenever you're building some new stuff for Lazy Lines, please come back and talk to me. Um, Next Tomato Talks is tomorrow with Sport Coin Network. I believe it's a new project, so I'm going to learn more about it. If you want to stop by, I will post about that. It's probably going to be later, like after 7 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you again, Kanko. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a
Mhm.
pleasure. I enjoyed it, and you do great with these podcasts. I appreciate what you do.
Oh, thank you. And just as a reminder, I will put up the recording on YouTube in the next couple of days as soon as I have some time. So if you missed any parts of it, it'll be there as well. Thanks, guys. I'll have a great rest of your week.
All right, thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.